Alright guys, Inspire the World here. This video today I'm bringing you is how to play at pro level on the Formula 1 games. This gameplay is from Formula 1 2016. And let's begin. So, tip 1 is the setups. You want to be getting a good base setup on your car, because this is going to give you a massive advantage when it comes to lap times in the game, and playing at the hardest difficulty and stuff. You want to be getting everything out of the game possible. So there's a number of ways of doing this. You can get setups from time trial of the top guys, or making your own, or you can go on YouTube. I use a guy called the Flying Finn. He's quite good, so that's where I get my setups from. And they gain you a good few seconds a lap. Anyway, tip 2 guys is taking advantage of the game. So what I mean by this is there's little things in the game that you can beat the AI with. So what I mean by this is the first lap of the race, they're always really slow. So I take massive advantage of this. The best way of doing this is making sure you're always on the inside of the first corner, because that gives you the best path through the AI. And as you can see, after sort of half of the lap, I managed to gain about 10 places and I take the lead of the race. Yeah, so that is tip 2. Tip 3 guys is consistency. What you need to do to be more consistent in the game is you need to practice. That is one of the key things for consistency, is practice. There's a number of ways I like to practice. One of them is playing on time trial. Second is playing online on a no collisions sort of lobby, which I'm on here. Thirdly, I play co-op with a friend, get good practice from that. And yeah, other ways you can be more consistent as well is obviously you have to get used to playing with no heads-up display. I thought this was really easy, as you don't have any distractions during the race or qualifying or anything like that, so you do seem to concentrate a lot more rather than looking at lap times and people's tires and stuff like that. So that's easy enough. In regards of cockpit view, they do have an edit sort of slider type of thing, as you want to call it, in the options menu, where you can sort of fit the cockpit view to your liking. So you can adjust how far the camera's up or down, left or right, at an angle, sort of how far back it is or how far forward it is. Tends to be a good sort of compromise on how you like to view the track from the cockpit view. I like to be a lot further back than usual and higher than usual, just so I can see the track, and I can see above those wing mirrors, because they do tend to get in your way a little bit. But anyway, that's sort of the first few stages of how to be more consistent, and also driving in cockpit view. Secondly guys is driving with no aids. This takes a while to get used to if you're not used to it. I would say the hardest one to get to grips with is probably no traction control. The best advice I can give you for that guys is, how can I put it? The traction control is very sort of loose on this game. It wasn't as sort of bad on the previous games, but I don't look at it in this point of view. If you're going straight in a straight line, the traction control is a lot easier to handle, but the more you turn the vehicle, the more looser it becomes. So in essence of coming out of a corner like this corner here, like I let off the throttle the tiniest a bit just to sort of keep the traction, and as you're coming out of a corner, you want to be feathering the throttle to sort of, as you straighten up the car, you're putting more input on the accelerator. It does take a while to get used to, and I don't know if I've worded it correctly for you to understand, but that's sort of the best way of putting it. I would say second thing to get used to is probably the hardest thing to get used to is the no ABS. The way I compromised with this was I lowered my brake pressure. I like to have it under 70. I know different people have it different numbers, but I just prefer it on 65 most of the time. I tend to don't get too many lockups, and that sort of benefits me in a way. When it's raining, I do like to drop it down into the 50s, just because that's just the way I like to drive. I like to brake early and stuff. But yeah, and thirdly, guys, the no racing line. This is quite easy, I think. People might not agree, but what I did when I first started learning about the racing line is I took parts of the track. So like, say this corner here that you're braking, I would brake at the white board on the right. So you use different parts of the track as markers, if that makes sense. So like a 100-meter board, or a flag, or a TV. Yeah, so guys, that's my sort of few tips for how to drive at pro level. I hope it's helped you. And I hope to see you next time in the next video. See you later, guys.